Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we've been spending an awful lot of time constructing the town in the valley, and today, good folks, we're gonna finish up and make leaps and bounds full of progress. And listen, I make tons of progress like this every single episode, so consider subscribing if you enjoy the video, and hey, maybe you could help me out by pressing that like button, but for now, let's get right into the video. Alright, good folks, welcome back to another episode, and you know how I complained last time about how the intro time-lapse didn't quite start quick enough? Well, today I'm going to try to get a lot of the greenery sorted here in the town, so without any further ado, let's take it away, people. Let's roll that intro time-lapse. Aw, yeah. Okay guys, kicking it off here with the intro time-lapse. I wanted to create two trees that are kind of twisting around each other, and I wanted them to end up kind of seamlessly turning into the same tree so that it's difficult to distinguish which one comes from which trunk. So you'll see me doing all kinds of twisty and turny things here, and once I finish this one up, I think it really ties the area down below together. We do still have a few details to put in right afterwards here in first person, but man, I am really happy with the progress we've been able to make just over the past few episodes here. And as you can see here, I added a little garden in the middle just to add to that serene vibe that we're going for. And that wandering trader you've been seeing on screen, guys, if I didn't have to be on my best behavior for you on camera, let's just say I could have done some unspeakable things we won't talk about. But moving on in the time-lapse, I had a few more areas to cover here, and I decided to add in a few smaller trees. I do have a few of these built around in the forest, but not too many around in the town itself. And so to mix it up and not have all the trees be the same size, I decided to put down a few smaller ones. And you know, I really recommend you add trees of differing sizes to your building arsenal, because not all situations call for the same size of tree. But guys, at this point, I've shown you all the things that I want to do in this intro time-lapse, so let's hop back into first person and do some more building the way we always do. So I will see you on the other side. Alright guys, the intro time-lapse is complete, and I would say that this area is looking a lot better now that we have a lot of the greenery placed down. I always find that putting down the leaves and all your little flowers like this is what makes a build come together in the end. And with these couple trees right here, I really think I nailed that vibe I wanted to go for, just to cover this whole area up. And you'll notice that if we look at it from above here, it's a bit more difficult to see what's going on down there, which I think is really good because it encourages a bit more on-foot exploration around here. And as for this area over here, I really love how this is looking and the feeling of walking down here, but we do still need to do a lot of texturizing here on the mountains, and that's of course going to be coming up in the future episodes. There's just so much of it to do that I guess I need to live stream more often, guys. I've learned my lesson. But we do have some things to finish up over here before we can move on to the main builds of the video, and namely, I would say it's this location right here. Last video I said I wanted to build a lemonade stand, and I stand by that. So I need to get myself a few blocks here for my shulker monster to see what we're going to be able to build. And it's not as easy to get stuff together as you'd think when you're as messy as I am in this game. Ooh, but I think we want to grab a few of these honey bottles to symbolize the actual lemonade. I think that's going to be pretty good. Now, it's a little bit of an awkward spot right here since it's on a slight diagonal. Do we want to work with that? I guess we'll give it a try. Hold on. I'm thinking something pretty simple like this is going to do it, guys. And then I've got myself some string and some carpets here. And I think obviously yellow because it's lemonade. Okay, I think I like this quite a bit. I tried out making more of a chessboard pattern with these ones. It just didn't line up right, but I think something like this is going to be fine. And then we can have the actual lemonade just sitting right here. Maybe it would be better if we have it kind of like that. Get yourself your fresh lemonade on a hot summer day. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get a villager in here at some point, but I mean, that's going to be a big pain, so we're putting it off for now. But I think that finishes off the area nicely. We now have a multitude of vendors who you can shop from. These different color awnings definitely create that shopping street vibe. So I'm very happy about this, but over here, we definitely need to do something about this little corner as well, where I have all my boxes. So I guess the first step is just going to be getting rid of all these guys, which really just means relocating them to another space in the grand scheme of things here. And so the new temporary home for all my shulker boxes instead of right over here is going to be right in this house until we get an interior sorted. Yeah, guys, I got a real shulker box problem. Like, let me know if there's a hotline or something I can call, because it's getting out of hand. But ladies and gentlemen, I asked you in the previous episode what you thought we should build over here, and a lot of you gave the suggestion that we should build a fountain or some kind of well. And while I like the fountain idea, I think it's more fitting for me to build a fountain over here in the middle of this square, so I think that's what I'm going to do later in the episode once we've got this square sorted and complete. So that, of course, leaves the well idea for over here, and I had the idea to do some kind of rundown, really old well. So I got myself some stone bricks and some mossy stuff over here. Already, I think this might be too small for a well design. We'll see. Okay, I do kind of like this, though. We just need to add the top to it. Okay, that should do it. We'll add some chains so that you could put a bucket on there. I'm not sure if this well is in use or not. Maybe you guys could give me an idea of whether or not it should be in the comments below. Ooh, but something that could be really cool if we use this as a secret entrance for the underworld right here. Maybe we need to remove this chain, and this way you could like get down to underneath the mountain here through the well. So what do you guys think we should have underneath the well here? Maybe it could be an entrance to the sewer that a lot of you guys want me to build. Definitely let me know in the comments, guys. We need to do a little bit more naturifying over here, though. Nice. I don't think we need to worry about this area anymore. That's awesome. And so before we get into the main meat of the episode here, where I finish the rest of the town, I asked you guys what we should name the cat over here 2 episodes ago, and I got a lot of good suggestions. But I think my favorite suggestion has to do with why we named the inn the Kraken Inn, and so say hello to Max. If you get it, you get it. Hello, Max. But guys, I have been teasing it this entire episode. We are going to finish up the town down here. And as you can see, I've laid out a few foundations for some houses over here. And what I'm thinking is we're going to build up 3 houses, a bit of a backyard over here, finish up the fountain for this square, and then we're going to try to finish off the playground over here somehow. So we, of course, need to use the right blocks for the job over here. And in the last episode, I asked you guys how you felt about the mushroom blocks on this building over here, and I love the mushroom blocks, to be honest. So I figured I'd use some of this again, but I don't want to use only the brown mushroom block. I want to use the white mushroom block as well. And what you're seeing in this box right here are the brown mushroom blocks I have left over from building this house in the last episode. And so I probably had another couple stacks here, but what you can see is I only have 52 of the white mushroom stem blocks. And for what I have planned this episode, we're going to need quite a few of these guys. So I've got myself some brown mushrooms and some bone meal over here, and I'm just gonna have to collect a ton of mushrooms. It's gonna be a pretty painstaking process since you get so few with every single mushroom. Luckily though, we do have some mycelium down here under the mountain since it used to be a mushroom biome, so we can just grow these guys and then silk touch axe these things until we have enough blocks. But as you can see, I got about 4 or 5 blocks here. Yeah, 5 white mushroom blocks, and I got 45 brown ones. So we're gonna get a lot of brown mushroom blocks, which is really good for building in the future, but it's going to take some time before we can get any substantial amount of these white ones. So I'll be right back with you guys as soon as I have enough for us to be able to do some building. All right, guys, I've been collecting these brown mushroom blocks for about half an hour now, and as you can see in my inventory, I've got quite a few of these white mushroom stem blocks. And just to show you guys how many more brown mushroom blocks you get when collecting these, I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 stacks of these mushroom stems, and I have over 1 shulker box of these brown mushroom blocks. In fact, so many. So we'll bring a few stacks of this with us because we're going to be using that for one of the houses I want to be building over here. And so let's very quickly discuss the plan. Several of you guys have wanted me to build a barber shop here in the town because, you know, clearly cutting your hair and looking fresh is really important. So I figured the way we're going to finish off this square right here is, of course, building the fountain right here, but we're also going to be putting the barber shop right here. And then after that, I'd like to add another couple residential buildings over here. So hopefully that should make this area come together quite nicely. And we'll worry about all the little details around here as soon as we've finished building these buildings. So I say, without further ado, let's kick this into time-lapse mode. Let's get this done, good people. So roll that time-lapse. Oh yeah. Right off the bat, I decided to use some of the excess brown mushroom blocks from earlier, together with the dark oak logs to build this building, which is going to be the barbershop here in Ventia. So my primary focus for this one was to create as inviting a front facade as possible, and in real life, back when I used to live in Italy, the barbershops used to always have these red, white, and blue barber poles, so I incorporated that into the awning here with those colors to make it obvious that this is where the hair gets cut. And you'll see me put in this window design with a lot of dark oak details around the windows, which is something I experimented with last episode a bit, and something that made it into all the designs of the houses I got done today. And for this side of the house, I needed a way for whoever the person is who resides in this house to be able to get up onto the second floor where the actual living quarters are. So I made this simple staircase right here and mixed up some light gray and white glass panes to make this larger window. And this wall on the other side right here is going to be facing another house, so it really didn't need any detail. But with the roof, I was so happy with the combination of the brown mushroom blocks, the dark oak, and the stripped warped logs, so I went with the same color combo again, but to mix it up a little bit, I decided to not go with the standard A-frame, as you can see right here. And to finish this one off, I added a little balcony on the top floor just to give a really nice view of the monastery on the other side here. And to be quite honest, I think that this color combination is top tier and probably the best in the entire kingdom. And so to start off this second time lapse right here, I actually forgot to add chimneys to this house, and I say chimneys because I ended up adding 2. I just felt like 2 looked better than 1 here. I wanted to go for the symmetry. And this second house right here is where the white mushroom stems that we gathered earlier are going to be coming into play. And I ended up using the oak trap doors here and some spruce buttons. And personally, I've never been too big a fan of using buttons for builds in Minecraft. I think most times they get used a bit too liberally, to be honest, but I think I found a way to not use them too excessively in this build. And here you'll see more examples of me trying out new window designs. Basically, I'm sick of making the same kind of windows all the time, so I've been mixing it up a lot more lately, and I hope you guys appreciate that. I gotta say, I've been having so much fun building these houses recently. I just think there's been a lot of variation recently because of my experimenting, and I think it's making the town look really awesome. And as you can see here, I decided to put a lot more effort into the back here where you might not expect a lot of people to come and look, because I wanted to create a short street back here, and I'm so happy I did because it ended up being my favorite part of all the building I did today. But that's just my own humble opinion. In fact, I would say that this little street, once finished, is one of my favorite corners of the whole world. And as you can see here, I went for the classic brick and terracotta roof that I've used for most of the houses in the area. And much like the other one, I'm super happy with how this house came out in the end. And the final house of the bunch is perhaps the least fancy of the lot, but I have a bit of an idea of what I want to do with this house. In fact, next episode, I think I'm going to try to populate the entire town with villagers. Now that the bottom layer of the town here is finished, I don't really need to worry about them getting in the way, and so I think I want to move a few villagers into this house here and create some kind of short-term breeder. But as for the palette itself, I went for the classic dark oak, of course, some stripped jungle wood, and you'll see me put in a nether brick roof. And this is the exact combination I used for the tavern, which a lot of you really liked, and it's honestly a color combination that looked really awesome for an older looking build. But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we take a look at the finer details in first person the way we always do, so I will see you on the other side. Alright, good folks, welcome back from the time lapse, and before I turn around and show you guys what's become probably one of my favorite spots in the whole world here, I'm gonna read you guys the comment of the day here because it's a question I get a fair amount, and that is, I wonder how you stay motivated while building. And this one came from Mr. Toasty36, so thank you Mr. Toasty for commenting. And the short answer to that question is that I don't really struggle with motivation at all in this game. Honestly, I just have a ton of ideas and I really want to get them done, but if I were to try to give you a better answer, I'd take a look at all my different projects over here. We have the spawn improvement project where we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot to be desired over here. There's the milling village. We've got the backsides of the mountains that need to get finished. We've got this entire area over here down between the monastery and the town. I mean, all this stuff is confined within my kingdom, but you could say that I have tons of different projects going on at the same time, so I can always sort of swap projects as I please, and whenever I feel like one project is getting a little bit stale, I can switch around and do something else. But I do have a lot of friends who play this game, and once they get elytra and once they have full netherite or diamond gear with the best enchantments, they kind of lose interest in the game and their motivation sort of falls to zero. Whereas to me, I love survival and everything. I think it's more rewarding to play, but to me all the possibilities kind of begin once you get your maximally enchanted tools and your best armor to protect yourself from from all the mobs. That being said, I do run around in gold boots in this world. So to me, instead of seeing beating the Ender Dragon or getting Silk Touch or Fortune or whatever enchants you want on your tools as the end goal in the game, I have a building project in mind, or maybe many. In fact, I have so many ideas that I want to build in this game that it'll probably take hundreds of episodes. And I've got to be honest, another contributing factor is the fact that I make these videos. It makes it a lot more fun for me to share what I'm doing here in the world and gives me a bit more incentive to build. So I hope, Mr. Toasty, that answered your question and that maybe you guys understand how I stay motivated in this game a little bit better. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can take a look at this street here. And I just love how this came out. My favorite part about it is probably the epic sightline here with the tallest mountain peak in the valley just sticking up in between these houses right here. That looks really, really awesome. And then I went ahead and added so much greenery over here, made it super, super lush. And I do want to do something over here that's a bit more interesting than this. Okay, something like this livens it up a lot more, just having a few archways, and I love how those vines just hang down right here through it. But yeah, guys, definitely let me know in the comments below how you feel about this area, and let me know how you feel about the idea to populate the village here with some villagers. But ladies and gentlemen, over here we have a big empty area full of just grass, and the reason I left this open is because I wanted to build more of a playground over here by the school. So I think my first idea is going to be to try to build some kind of seesaw. And now what I'm hoping is going to happen over here is that these connect up to, yeah, okay, that kind of works. I mean, there's a little bit of a space, but I'm cool with that. And next I wanted to see if I can build some kind of fence here using trap doors. All right, I think that's going to do the trick nicely to border off the schoolyard here. And even though I'm considering the town finished here, I guess it kind of isn't because we have this big empty plot here. So if you guys could tell me what you want to see in this plot, do we do another house? Do we make a little grove with a few trees here? Whatever you guys choose to put here, we'll probably do it in the next intro time lapse or just in the middle of an episode. But for now, we need to come over here because I told you guys we were going to build a fountain right here. And I've made a few preparations here, as you can see. Hello, kitty. And so somehow we need to make the water flow here in some kind of aesthetically pleasing way. I'm thinking about that tall. Any taller would be a little bit excessive, probably. And so if I put these here, the water's going to flow down, come down to either side. The water's going to be coming down onto these blocks and then in here, but it's going to continue flowing if we don't stop it with some more stairs right here. Okay, it does flow the way we want it to, but we do want water in the middle here as well, I think. So, yes, I'm a genius of water physics. That made it work. So the reason why we put water features in cities is because humans really, really like the sound of running water. In fact, the sound you're hearing right now is pretty pleasant. And it makes sense from a survival standpoint because running water probably means that there's water you can drink. And you know, you kind of need to drink to survive. Although, not in Minecraft, no drinking required. That being said, even though you don't have to, drinking a bucket full of milk sometimes is just what you need. You do realize that this bucket fits a square meter of water. To put that into perspective, that's 1,000 liters of water. So did I just drink 1,000 liters of milk? In that case, that's like 600,000 calories. Yeah, I might consider fasting tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, another thing I of course didn't forget about is the interior of the barbershop. We do of course have to do the top floor later. It still has a bit of a dirty ceiling from when I used coarse dirt as scaffolding, but you know, we'll get there in due time. But I did make sure to do the interior of the actual shop itself down here. And it's not a huge space, but you'll see as we enter here, we have all the different kinds of scissors here on the wall with some artwork, and I used the banner here that I've used for mirrors in some of the houses, and I think this works out really, really awesome. I'm of course looking forward to candles more than anyone else and using these torches as placeholders, but I would definitely come here to get my haircut. I sorely need a haircut in real life. You guys can't see it through the videos here, luckily, but I am in desperate need of a trim. Let's just put it that way. But now that we're pretty much finished with the lower level of the town here, I'd like to focus my attention on map making. I have a map of the world over here by spawn that you might remember from the world tour episode. That's probably the last time I showed it. And this thing hasn't been updated since the episode before the world tour, I'm pretty sure. And a lot has happened since. I mean, look, the farming area here is completely empty and the town is still the vineyard. So we need to tear some of this down and try to update this map. So I'll start with a few at a time. Ooh, the map's starting to update. I'm loving how that looks. Okay, that should be the last one to update here. And the farm area is looking really, really awesome on the map now, but look at this over here. And I almost forgot updating the tavern over there, but guys, I'm super happy with this. It's really starting to look like a kingdom now. But now that we're taking a look at the map, it becomes evident where we need to put in some work. So we do have this area right there I was talking about earlier, where you guys need to give me some suggestions. And then in the next episode, I do plan to finish up the forest here with something pretty interesting that I hope you guys are really gonna like. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been a few episodes since we checked out the town here in some shaders, and I am really excited to take a look, man. This is looking so great. I always love taking a few days off of using shaders just so that I can come back and get the full effect, man. This is looking so awesome. And just take a look at the transformation of this square right here. And a lot of people usually ask me what shaders I use in these videos, and I always use the BSL shaders. I think they're the best looking Minecraft shaders. And man, walking down these streets really gets me excited to work on more castles in this world. I'm not gonna lie. But ladies and gentlemen, that is definitely all I have time for in this episode. So if you watch this video all the way to the end, then you're the champ, and I appreciate your existence. And until we see each other next time, have a good one.